Welcome to the CURED Collective. I'm Joe Sheehy, the CEO and co-founder of CURED and host of our weekly podcast. CURED is a movement inspired by nature, grounded in a shared desire to leave a lasting impression on you, this community, and this world. Together, we're a collective of heart-centered human beings existing to raise consciousness on that which makes us happy, healthy, and fulfilled. This platform is dedicated to sharing the stories and lessons of those that align with our mission. Hello, friends, and welcome back to another episode of the CURED Collective podcast. We're super excited to have you back on the show. As you who have listened to this show consistently know, sometimes we have partners that represent the company on the podcast. Other times we have short but powerful episodes speaking to the behind the scenes of CURED and really our overall philosophy of what it means to live an elevated existence. In previous episodes, we talked about sleep as the foundation of health, and today we are going to talk about your gut and the gut-brain axis and how much this influences our overall health. One of the first concepts to think about is the fuel that your body operates upon. So think of the concept of having a high-performance sports car or high-performance vehicle. You go to the pump and you go for the highest octane fuel, usually 91, and fuel your car with that type of octane fuel because it is the highest performance and, of course, highest cost. But we don't want to put low quality fuel into a high performing vehicle. And our body is no different. The studies around the gut-brain axis and the connection between the two are continuing to unfold. But what they're showing is that gut health is of the utmost importance to our overall health, just like sleep is the foundation of health. And the age-old sayings of you are what you eat are truly the case. When we think about eating sugars, we think about eating fried, processed, or refined foods compared to a highly nutrient-dense meal of greens and vegetables and other high macrobiotic and microbiotic dense components. The two just are not comparable. When you think about selecting a food, you need to think about the fuel that your brain is going to operate upon. So some of the biggest components of eating low quality food or biggest symptoms are things such as brain fog. This can lead to decreased mood, of course, headaches, of course, overall energy. All of these are symptoms of eating poor quality food. And what's really important for us to understand is this connection is something that, some people say the gut is the second brain. The brain is, of course, the primary brain, but they're really one and the same. And that's what the studies are starting to uncover. So let's talk a little bit more about the gut, and then we'll get into some solutions for increasing your overall gut health and really understanding how we optimize the gut-brain axis. So the gut microbiome is made up of trillions of bacteria microbes. It's involved in the regulation of countless physiological and psychological processes. It influences everything from stress response and emotional control to pain tolerance and neurochemistry. So what we're talking about here is physical and emotional health. And we at CURED are the ones that are taking the step back and saying, hey, yeah, we're a supplement company, but supplements are supplemental to living a healthy lifestyle. And so what's most important is to talk about what all those other aspects are. So the gut microbiome, as you know, is not just physical. It's not just involved in the physical health, but it's also involved in your emotional health. The GI tract is something that is part of your overall digestive system. And one of the things that I think it's important to understand is thinking about entry points of nutrients into the body. So when we think about eating food, we think about the mouth being the first entry point. And of course, the mouth is where we start to chew and break down the food. Then it goes into our digestive tract where we break the food down further and further. We have stomach acids that are helping process and break down the food further. But when we get to the gut lining, that is truly the entry point from or the crossover or barrier from outside to inside the body. So that's why it's so important that we talk about what's going on in that microbiome. And there's several things that you can do to help increase the health and overall quality of your gut microbiome, and of course that gut-brain axis and the connection between the two. So we'll take a step back and we'll just talk about what are a couple things that we can do. We need to limit inflammatory foods. As I said, fried, processed, refined, and sweetened artificial sugars are not the fuel that our body needs to operate optimally. So let's understand that there's a difference between, grabbing that candy bar and grabbing a nutrient-dense meal. So let's limit our inflammatory foods. Let's also prioritize food diversity. So feeding that gut microbiome is extremely important. And several individuals or experts in the field say it's almost like we all have our own fingerprint within that gut microbiome. So to help create a diverse and healthy gut microbiome, we need to prioritize food diversity. So not only does variation of guarantee that you're getting an important mix of vitamins, minerals, and antioxidants, your body also learns to produce more of a comprehensive mix of stomach acids. So that's going to allow us to help break down the food and absorb the nutrients and utilize the nutrients better and better. And of course, just the overall balancing of the microbiota. So you can also support this by increasing your fiber intake, incorporating fermented foods, and eating the daily recommended amount of high quality protein. One example is to mix in a tablespoon of ground flaxseed into your morning smoothie, try adding kimchi to your afternoon macrobiotic bowl, and grill a fresh piece of salmon for dinner. Those are 3 simple solutions to help diversify and balance your microbiota. You can also reach to a supplement after you've done these things. So, of course, here we say, hey, do these things before reaching to a supplement. If you've done these things, then one thing that we recommend here at CURED is to try our Aura product. So Aura has a blend of functional mushrooms, adaptogens, and cannabinoids. And this supplement has been designed to heal, seal, and protect your gut lining. So if we think about limiting anti-inflammatory foods, or if we think about inflammatory foods on the flip side, so think about our gut lining, think about inflammation in the gut lining, and think about the ability for things to leak or pass through that barrier that aren't supposed to. We want to change that. And that's why we designed Aura to help reverse and protect that process. And then, of course, the microbiome. There are several of the components within our Aura product that help develop the microbiome, and that's through prebiotics rather than probiotics. So chaga mushroom and turkey tail mushroom have been known to have prebiotics. Those are another component of the overall product. And then, of course, vitamin D and all of the herbs that have great anti-inflammatory properties. So once you've limited your inflammatory foods, you've committed to food diversity, and you've committed to balancing your microbiota through utilizing foods such as kimchi, as flaxseed, and eating fresh salmon. This is the next step. Reach for Aura, our gut health product, gut health and immune support product, and optimize your gut-brain axis. This is a short but sweet and powerful episode. I'll leave you with 2 thoughts. Always trust your gut. It is your second brain, and you are what you eat, and we can't forget that. Hope you all enjoy today's short episode, and we'll catch you on another episode of the CURED Collective podcast very soon. Thank you, everybody, for tuning into today's episode of the CURED Collective podcast. As always, we truly appreciate not only you listening to this podcast, but sharing this podcast with others. Of course, leaving a rating and review on the podcast app is very much appreciated as well. But the only way that we can create the impact that we want in this world is to have our message spread further and further through you individuals that tune into the podcast, that absorb our content, and understand our mission and values as a company. So please take a second. If you benefited from this episode, share it with somebody you love, share it with somebody in your friend group, and share the wealth. As always, coupon code collective at curednutrition.com will save you 15%, and we look forward to catching you on the next episode.